A Capital One credit card cash advance is one way to get cash when you really need it. You're essentially borrowing cash from your line of credit and promising to pay it back later. Although cash advances are rarely your best option due to their high fees and even higher interest rates, taking out a cash advance can help you in a situation where you might not have enough money in your bank account to cover a cash-only expense. How do you get a Capital One cash advance? Is there a Capital One cash advance fee? Let's take a closer look at how Capital One cash advances work and what you should consider before you request one. What is a cash advance? A cash advance allows you to get cash from a credit card. Instead of using your credit card to make purchases, you request an advance on your credit limit in cash. Most people use ATMs to get cash advances, although you can also request a cash advance inside a bank branch. A cash advance lets you use cash in situations where credit cards are not accepted. If you're buying a money order, for example, you'll need to pay in cash, and if you don't have a debit card or don't have enough funds in your checking account to use your debit card, you can use a cash advance to get the money you need. It's generally better to get cash from a debit card or checking account than to request a cash advance on a credit card. Cash advances come with fees and high interest rates, and cash advance interest begins to accrue as soon as the transaction is completed. If you're thinking about requesting a cash advance because you need to cover an expense that you can't pay for out of your checking account, you might want to consider a personal loan instead. In many cases, personal loans charge lower interest rates than cash advances, which means the right personal loan could save you a lot of money over time. How to get a cash advance with Capital One? To get a Capital One credit card cash advance, start by finding an ATM. You do not need to use a Capital One ATM to get a cash advance, although ATMs that are not in the Capital One or Allpoint networks may charge you an additional fee for using a Capital One credit card. Insert your Capital One credit card into the ATM and enter your card's PIN. Select the cash advance option. You may have to select credit first and follow the steps to request a cash advance. If you want to make a cash advance but don't have your PIN, try going inside the bank branch. If the bank lobby displays the Visa or MasterCard logo, you should be able to take out a cash advance with a bank teller. All you'll need is your Capital One credit card and a government-issued photo ID, such as a driver's license. How much is the Capital One cash advance fee? The Capital One cash advance fee is 3% min $3 per transaction, whichever is higher. A cash advance fee is a fee charged when using a Capital One credit card for cash withdrawals at an ATM with a cash advance check or in person at participating locations. Bear in mind that when you do a cash advance, you will incur other costs in addition to the Capital One cash advance fee. There's a separate cash advance APR that applies immediately after you complete the transaction. The ATM owner may also impose additional charges. Once your cash advance is complete, you'll receive your cash from the ATM or bank teller. Do your best to pay back your cash advance as quickly as possible, since cash advances often come with higher interest rates than standard credit card charges. What you need to know before getting a cash advance. Cash advances can help you out in a pinch, but they can also cost you a lot of money. Here's what you need to know before you get a cash advance. Be prepared to pay a fee. Cash advances come with cash advance fees, so be prepared to pay a little extra for the privilege of withdrawing cash from the ATM. The Capital One cash advance fee is either $10 or 3% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever is greater. Cash advances may come with higher interest rates. Cash advances also come with cash advance interest rates, which are often higher than the interest rates you'll pay on purchases. If you have the Capital One Quicksilver Cash Rewards credit card, for example, you'll get an introductory 0% APR on purchases for 15 months, followed by a variable APR of 14.99% to 24.99%, depending on your creditworthiness. But the cash advance APR is 24.99% variable, even if you take out a cash advance during the introductory APR period. That said, some Capital One credit cards don't charge higher interest rates on cash advances. If you have the Journey Student Rewards from Capital One, your purchase APR and cash advance APR are both 26.99%. Read your credit card's terms and conditions to know whether you'll pay a higher interest rate on cash advances. cash advance interest starts right away. Unlike credit card purchases, there's no grace period associated with cash advances. Your cash advance will start accruing interest from the day you make the transaction, and you won't have the opportunity to pay off your cash advance interest-free. There is a limit to how much you can take out daily. Capital One credit cards come with a cash advance limit, which is often lower than your credit limit or available credit. You can find your cash advance limit by logging into your Capital One account, selecting the credit card you'd like to use for your cash advance, and then selecting View Details. The Capital One mobile app does not include your cash advance limit, so make sure you complete these steps in browser. ATMs may also have additional limits on the amount of cash you can withdraw in a cash advance. These tend to be daily limits, so you should be able to take out multiple cash advances over a few days as long as you stay within your limit. You'll need your card PIN. Before you can complete a Capital One cash advance at an ATM, you'll need your credit card PIN. If you don't remember your PIN, you can request a new one. Which Capital One cards offer cash advances? All Capital One credit cards currently offer cash advances, including several popular cashback credit cards, travel credit cards, and business credit cards.